It was calm almost all year round on the small island. Away from the mainland, the local dinosaurs had become small to adapt to the limited resources. But there were many species on the island, very few of them predators, and together they never competed, never fought, never had much to worry about. On this small island, away from the giants of the mainland, the miniature dinosaurs lived a peaceful life. Until the wet season came. The warm weather brought creatures from the sky, flying in on vast, veiny wings. When they landed, they towered over every living thing on the island, walking on long, bone-like limbs. Tall, almost frail-looking monsters, their long features belying their true strength and ferocity. Carrying enormous, toothless beaks at the end of their rigid, thick necks, they stalked the land with eyes that no prey could hope to hide from. With a calm, haunting demeanor, they picked off anything that was too slow to get away. The Sky Devils. Nothing was large enough to resist them. Adult dinosaurs would be picked up and slammed to the ground, killing them instantly, while younger or smaller ones would simply be swallowed whole. Their still struggling forms could be seen as they slowly slid down the pterosaurs' throats. Every year they came to the island to rest during the night, and come sunrise they strode across the land and gorged themselves on the local wildlife. The Sky Devils replenished their strength for a few weeks a year, and then when the time was right, disappeared back into the sky, marking the end of the hunting season. To an onlooker, the scene looked like an unprovoked invasion, but in truth, the massive pterosaurs played an important role on the island. Without them, the herbivore population would increase until there was no food left on the island. Their annual feeding kept the local animal numbers in check, but to the creatures of the small island, the enormous beasts were their greatest fear, and those lucky enough to survive their first summer never forgot that death came once a year in the form of giant wings and long, sharp beaks. Hello everyone and welcome back to the show. Today we will be looking at the largest creature to ever take to the wing, Hatzegopteryx. Hatzegopteryx was a massive pterosaur of the Hatzegopteryx family. It was first discovered in Transylvania and named in 2002. It lived around 66 million years ago and may have even been around for the end of the age of dinosaurs. Even for a pterosaur, Hatzegopteryx was huge. On the ground it would have stood 5.5 meters tall as a giraffe. Its skull alone was 1.6 meters long. In the air, Hatzegopteryx had a wingspan of up to 12 meters, allowing it to effortlessly glide high in the air and cover huge distances. Despite this, the animal probably weighed around 200 to 250 kilograms. When Hatzegopteryx still ruled the skies, the area of Europe it was discovered in was much like an archipelago. One of the ancient islands in this area was called Hatteg Island, which contained many species that had undergone island dwarfism. This is where a species has adapted to be much smaller on an island environment, as opposed to its mainland cousins. It is here that Hatzegopteryx ruled as the region's top predator. The evidence of this comes from how its neck vertebrae are shorter and held stronger muscles than other members of its family, meaning that it was better suited for the stresses of attacking, lifting, and stabbing its prey. Despite its size, Hatzegopteryx could indeed fly, reaching speeds of up to 100 kilometers an hour in the air, and quite possibly being able to make migrations across continents, oceans, or even worldwide if it needed to. However, we have no evidence of Hatzegopteryx or other Hatzegopteryx doing these kinds of trips. It spent the majority of its time on the ground, and even if it did interact with large species on the mainland, it still likely was the top predator wherever it landed, as only the largest theropod dinosaurs would pose a threat to it. So Hatzegopteryx filled a strange niche in the ancient world. Its behavior is similar to that of modern-day storks, such as the marabou stork. However, it was at the top of the food chain, creating a frightening image of a world filled with dinosaurs, which also contained giant murder storks that strode across the land or soared through the sky. For a long time, most pterosaurs were thought to be insect or fish eaters. And though many filled that role, Hatzegopteryx proves that this large group of reptiles were just as varied as the dinosaurs they shared their world with, and in some cases even challenged them. So when you think of life in the late Cretaceous, you can imagine herds of hadrosaurs, ceratopsians, some ornithopods running around, and a few large theropods. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch to also put these giant pterosaurs in, patrolling the land alongside the dinosaurs. Well, that's all on Hatzegopteryx, a species I had to make a video on once I had the mental image of these giants stalking the land. But what do you think of them? Did I perhaps portray them a little too grimly? Well, I'll leave you with this thought. If Hatzegopteryx was alive today, it would be able to swallow a human whole. Let me know what lesser known ancient species you'd like me to cover in a future episode, and until then, watch the skies.